Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today we're doing something very exciting on this channel. We've gone up against Wolfe Glick many times before for fun exhibition battles, and today we're doing yet another one, but this one is actually going to be a little bit different. So basically, we took the top 100 used Pokemon a couple of weeks ago, I believe it was like 2 weeks ago, and basically banned all of those Pokemon and their pre-evolution. So everything that you see on this, or in this battle, basically was not included in the top 100 as of, I believe, like mid-July or so. So some of the Pokemon might have shifted up in the last couple of days, but overall it's going to feature a lot of Pokemon that you don't see featured very often in VGC, so it should just be a very, very fun exhibition match. Honestly, I have no idea what Wolfe is bringing into this. I have no idea if the team I'm bringing is any good, but it's going to be fun to just play with some Pokemon that are a little bit more unorthodox. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this content. We're going to be doing a best of 3. Of course, you can check out Wolfe's perspective, linked in the description below. If you like this kind of content, let me know. Leave a comment, leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, let's just get into it. I'm really scared because I think Wolfe is definitely a better team builder than I am, and I suspect, like, stuff like this is definitely just his forte. Oh boy, and he's got Trick Room stuff. Okay. It's actually very similar to his VGC 2011 team. I figured he would bring a Scavalier as well. So, we've got some interesting combinations here. Frostlass is especially interesting because you can crit into... what was I going to say? Frostlass is interesting because you can just crit into the Tauros. So if I think he's going to go Trick Room, I would expect like Scrafty and Cofagrigus. To which I could lead... So I have Persian and Lucario, so I could beat up. And I have Max Phantasm. But that doesn't stop him from just going Scrafty and Cofagrigus, right? Tangrowth is pretty interesting here because I can redirect attacks away. I also have Sleep Powder. And I kind of want to bring my own Escavalier as well. One thing that's interesting is that my Slowking can reverse his Trick Rooms, which could be valuable here. I have no idea what to bring in this first game. He's got to prepare for Persian Lucario, honestly, I think. I'm going to go Tangrowth to Diggersby, Slowking, Escavalier. Yeah. So, I have Slowking for Flamethrower, and as I was building for this format, I realized there were just not any really good Fire-type Pokemon. So I was like, how in the world do you like approach a matchup like this? I have no idea how this is going to play out, but I like Wolfe's team a lot. You basically got the Trick Room core in the top 4, and then of course the Tauros stuff in the bottom. Okay, yep, that's the lead I was kind of expecting. Now, did what I bring actually beat this? I think it's okay. Because what I want to do turn 1 is Sleep Powder and Swords Dance. Because I've got Swords Dance on the bunny. So launching a Sleep Powder into Cofagrigus and Swords Dancing here seems okay. Because then what I can do the next turn is Rage Powder, Swords Dance again, and then Max Diggersby. I think you have to fake out the Tangrowth here out of respect. Oh, he doesn't fake out. Okay, well, if we don't miss... Well, he might just be Drain Punching, or even Close Combating, actually. That would be so strong. Oh, I wonder if he's Lumberry. Like, anti-sleep here. Let's see. Nope, okay. Ah, it is Close Combat, though. Does that KO us? Oh, no. Nice play. So, Sleep Powder into Scrafty there would have been so, so good. And it's White Herb as well. Okay. Well, I just lost the main means of offense. However, now I can bring out my own Escavalier. It's actually a pretty good bring here right now, I think. Yeah, let's go for that. Slowking is not bad either. Just can't really enable my own like weakness policy right now. That was a great close combat by Wolfe turn 1. It reminds me very much of our previous best of 3 where I was just able to get the Shadow Ball off turn 1 in front of an Indeedee. Kind of the roles reversing a little bit this time around. I got into my own Escavalier here. Interesting that Escavalier is like the one common thread between both of us. Okay. So... how does he actually beat Escavalier? Are there any Fire-type attacks? Because I can just start Steel Spiking here, right? I suspect Scrafty switches out here into maybe his own Escavalier. So I could switch Tangrowth out if it is going to be Overcoat. Go out into Slowking here. I don't think I want to Dynamax turn 1 yet. Max Escavalier does seem quite nice here, though. Okay. I'm gonna max and Steel Spike. Get some defense boosts. I could even actually have maybe stayed in with Tangrowth. I just think he's gonna have the Escavalier in the back, because he's going full Trick Room in this game. Yep, so I think Escavalier comes out here. Yep. Which is actually fine for us, because we can Flamethrower it the subsequent turn. It's just maybe maxing here wasn't a great move. Nice play turn 1. Like, I think Wolfie respected, and unfortunately I had to reveal the Swords Dance there as well. Like, had I just gone for Sleep Powder into Scrafty and Swords Dance, then the next turn I could just go for another Rage Powder and Swords Dance, and then we're schmoovin'. Okay. He's faster than us, so he wasn't going for Trick Room this turn. Just good to know. Might have been like a Will-O-Wisp. It's not very good damage from Steel Spike, to be honest. A little underwhelming. But we'll get a defense boost. Now, I think he's going to be Assault Vest on the Escavalier, if I had to guess. So I'd like to Flamethrower here. Steel Spike for another defense boost. If he doesn't max Escavalier, maybe we can just knock it. Also, if it's not AV, maybe we can also knock it out. I'm going to double up into that slot. Yep, he's going to max it. Okay. So Battle of the Escavaliers here. Great turn 1 play on his end. Unfortunately, the Scrafty means I can't really go with the Lucario stuff nearly as easily. Yeah, because you can just fake out Persian turn 1. And if I fake out the Scrafty, it doesn't really accomplish very much. He wakes up, but he misses Will-O-Wisp. I get the Flamethrower off. Oh, that is definitely an Assault Vest. That is so bulky, too. Alright, Max Flutterby comes out. How much does it do to us? Let's see. That's so strong. Still enough for a knockout. Okay. So I gotta break through this Escavalier. But I think Wolf's definitely gonna commit to Trick Room in the subsequent games as well. I mean, it's not over yet, so let's not give up. But damage-wise, we are very sorely lacking right now. And we were lucky to get that Will-O-Wisp dodge as well, right? Like, the main problem is that my strat was to just sweep through with Diggersby, and Wolf made a really nice play turn 1. I could have gone for the Rage Powder to play it safe, and in retrospect, that probably would have been better. So I can still commit to Diggersby in the next game. I just was really expecting the fake out. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can Sleep Powder here into Cofagrigus, and do I go for a defense boost? I think I'd rather just want damage onto the Escavalier. So I think I'm going to Geyser, just because Geyser plus Razor Shell should be a knockout onto that. Okay, it should be Scrafty coming in. Yeah, I think this is actually still winnable with the Escavalier and Tangrowth, so I'm not giving up quite yet. That was just such a good turn 1 play on his end. Like, yeah. Once again, very similar to the turn 1 play of that last set that we played. Been lucky in hitting the Sleep Powders, though. So let's see if Flutterby is enough to knock out. It should be. Which is, actually, I maybe should have needed to go for a Steel Spike there for a defense boost. I'm min speed, by the way, so he's definitely min speed as well. That's so little damage. It's pitiful damage. But if we somehow survive Max Flutterby here, there's a chance. His Escavalier was just better than mine in this one. Yeah, I just one-shot 2 of my Pokemon. Okay. I know what I need to do for game 2, though, I think. Also, I'm going to close the blinds real quick. It's too bright. Okay. Just a great turn 1 play on his end. Like, such a good turn 1 play. Alright. So if I expect the same lead game 2, what do I do? Because I even like expected that lead to come out, right? But I still didn't really get very much out of it. I think it starts with enabling Slowking, honestly. But the problem is that his Escavalier has a lot of like. So I actually did this damage calc before the game because I thought Wolfie would actually bring Escavalier. A +2 max flare from Slowking knocks it out, and I have Weakness Policy on the Slowking. So that's a potential route we can go with. I actually just didn't realize Scrafty was in the pool of Pokemon, so I thought that like the Persian Lucario stuff would be pretty good here because I can Phantasm, but yeah, that's not the case. So if he goes Scrafty and Cofagrigus again. What do I want to do? Because I think Trick Room is definitely his best approach in this matchup. I don't know. Diggersby is so strong here. If I don't make the same misplay on the first turn. It wasn't a misplay. It was actually just a better play on Wolfie's end. I know he doesn't have berries on either, but it has to be enabling Slowking, I think. What if I lead Persian Slowking? I don't like that too much without Intimidate, though, because he can just flutter by. Persian Slowking can reverse his own Trick Rooms, though. I don't know. If I go Tangrowth Diggersby again, I think that's a potential approach as well. My Escavalier just didn't do anything in that last game. So I might go Tangrowth Diggersby Persian Slowking instead. I think basically what makes this tougher for me is that he has a very guaranteed Trick Room setup, whereas I don't, right? So then we have to play the Trick Room mind games. Can I deny his Trick Rooms? Yeah. I mean, Diggersby still does a ton of damage, and this time around, you know, he might go for the fake out this time around. Let's see. Oh, he goes Tauros Frostlass. That's a really good adjustment because it counters. I think he realized that Tangrowth Diggersby is still pretty strong. I think that's all right though, right? If I just Rage Powder turn 1 and Max Strike, seems all right. What do I have in the back again? It's just that I'm committing my Dynamax then to Diggersby. He could also switch Tauros out. He could have allies. I think if I had to guess, there's ally switch on the Frostlass. I actually might just go for Sleep Powder here. I have to really respect the Frost Breath stuff, right? But he can read around that. Rage Powder Max. Alright, I'm gonna commit the Max into Tauros. He stays in, which is good. See if there's an ally switch. So obviously with Frostlass Tauros, your goal is to just crit the Tauros immediately. There might be an Icy Wind coming out here as well. I think I just have to Rage Powder to cover for anything that could happen right now. So yeah, the goal was to try to sweep with Diggersby in the last game, but obviously that didn't work out super well. Good protect. I don't mind that since I do get the speed decrease. Let's see what Frostlass goes for. But you know, that could have been a potential to like Swords Dance and Sleep Powder, which would have been nasty. Okay, Frostlass goes for Taunt. That's fine, I think. Good to know it has Taunt as well. How much does this do through Protect? That's a lot of damage. Probably want to Max Quick that slot. I mean, Frostlass, if I had to guess, probably has Will-O-Wisp and is probably Focus Sashed, right? Tauros is pretty booty, though, if you don't get the setup going. And I think he might sack the Tauros here, actually. I'm going to Rain Slowking. The question is just whether I want to Strike or Quake, and who. It's definitely going to be Quake, I think, because there's no ground resists on Wolf's team. I'm just thinking of targeting Frostlass, because I don't think Tauros actually scares me very much here. So Max Quaking into Frostlass seems acceptable. Frostlass switches out. Okay. Into Scrafty. Get the Intimidate off. That makes sense. Well, I'll still get some decent damage with Max Quake. I don't think Frostlass actually scares me that much in this matchup. Double switch. Cofagrigus or Escavalier? Huh. Well, this is interesting now because it's like, who does Wolf actually Dynamax at this point, right? It's probably going to be the Tauros. So he's basically setting himself up for a late game Tauros. Okay. So we get another Max Quake off. It should still do over 50%, I think. Was that a crit or is Diggersby just that good? That has to be a crit, right? I was like, I know Diggersby's good, but it's not that good. Oh, that was very fortunate. Okay. Yeah, that was very lucky. I'm pretty sure Scrafty's surviving that with like 30%-ish or so without the crit. This is why, you know, I thought Diggersby would have been so good in that first game. And that's why the close combat was so good as well. We've seen, what, Will-O-Wisp Trick Room from the Dusclops, sorry, not the Dusclops, the Cofagrigus. I wish I had Shadow Ball on this Slowbro instead. I was looking through and I realized, yeah, there weren't many great ghost Pokemon, so my main strategy ghost types in terms of attacking. So my main strategy against, like, because I figured Wolf would probably bring some kind of Trick Room, because, yeah, I knew Cofagrigus, Scrafty were in, and those are some of his favorite Pokemon. Okay, Tauros comes out, so what do you do here? I mean, I want to just Quake into Tauros. I guess the other question is, how do I actually do damage against Cofagrigus in the late game? You have to protect the Tauros here, right? And like, Trick Room? Oh, there's two things to read into here. First thing is, do I read into his Trick Room? Second thing is, do I still just target Tauros? Because one play I could make is reverse his Trick Room here. And I don't really need the Spadef boosts, right? I'm just going to strike the Tauros here. I think he might play aggressively and just max Tauros in attack. He is maxing, but let's see if he's attacking. Because if it's an attack, it's just game over here. But, like I said, Ally Switch would be the absolute disaster here if he has it on the Mummy, which he might. This might not knock out, but it would do a ton of damage. To the point where I'd feel comfortable winning this game. So let's see. Ah, he max cards. Okay. Well, that's actually fine if he Trick Rooms with the Mummy, because then I reverse the Trick Room, and then I can just Giga Impact the next turn. Oh, and he body presses. He's too good, man. Nice play. That was a phenomenal play. Max Quake's like Scald would have been super good for us, but I think we're actually still not in that bad of a position, quite frankly. Because the Mummy and Frostlass don't really do any damage. We also could potentially burn with Scald now, and you pretty much have to target the Diggersby, I think. Oh, actually, Body Press will do a lot to it, so maybe I actually switch Diggersby out and go out into Tangrowth. Because Diggersby is still a pretty good late-game sweeper here. That was a really good play by Wolf. Like, he hard read into my soul in that one. So Body Press, Will-O-Wisp, Trick Room. Gotta figure out what the last move on the Mummy is. Okay, just another Body Press coming out, that's fine. Okay, we get the Scald off. It's really good damage, actually. Not a 2-hit KO. Or actually, it might be a 2-hit KO. No burn is what I meant to say there. Wow, okay, Slowking takes that pretty well. Nice. And now he's further decreased our speed, so Slowking's even faster now under Trick Room. And Tangrowth is out. Okay, 3 turns of Trick Room. Got a special defense boost. I mean, the safest play really is to Scald into Tauros and Rage Powder here. I don't think I mind that too much. Okay, goes for... Oh, is he reversing Trick Room here? That'd be really interesting. Huh. Let's see. I want to know the 4th move on that thing. Nope, just Shadow Ball. Okay, good to confirm it's Shadow Ball. This is a pretty bulky Tangrowth. Nice. Okay, nice, nice, nice. So now I can just Scald to KO Tauros and Sleep Powder. Or actually, I probably want to Leech Seed right now. Because I don't see any damage output at this point against the Tangrowth. Yeah, so let's just go for Scald into Tauros. Wait, actually, hold on. Psychic is stronger, so let's go for that. Just to guarantee the knockout. And Leech Seed into the Cofagrigus. It's just higher accuracy than Sleep Powder. Okay, he's actually going to switch Tauros out, which makes sense. Because one setup he could go for is actually bringing the Tauros back in. So that's like a really good play, actually. I wonder if Flamethrower would have actually just been enough to pick up the knockout, because if so, that might have been the better play to go for. Psychic does a lot of damage to Frostlass, though. And it's just Shadow Ball. Oh, Slowking takes that, though. Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting to survive that, but that's really impressive. So now he's activated our Weakness Policy. He also knows we have Weakness Policy. Okay. I think Tangrowth wins this now. Like, he didn't bring a Scavalier. And so now with the Seeds and Recovery from lefties, it's hard to actually really do damage to this consistently. Okay. I don't know. Maybe Sleep Powder would have been better there. But we have one more turn of Trick Room, right? So we've seen Body Press, Shadow Ball, Will-O-Wisp, and Trick Room on the Cofagrigus. Is Frostlass gonna have Protect? I don't think so. Plus I have Persian Diggersby in the back. I think just... I want to KO Frostlass here so that you don't get the Tauros setup. So I think Sleep Powder into Cofagrigus and just Psychic into Frostlass is okay. The problem is if you switch the Mummy out... Okay, that doesn't happen good. So I think Tangrowth wins this now. Tangrowth is so interesting because it's pretty much the only redirection user that isn't used in VGC 2020. And the main reason for that is because like it's just like a worsened Lungus basically, right? Okay, so I have to reveal my weakness policy tech there. So the idea behind this team was... Okay, I missed Sleep Powder there, but that's fine. The idea behind the team was basically to enable 2 main sweepers in Lucario, or 3 main sweepers, Lucario, Slowking, and the Diggersby. So Diggersby can set up with Swords Dance, so I could go Persian. So if Wolf went with like more offensive stuff or wasn't hard Trick Room, I could lead like Persian Diggersby, like fake out Swords Dance, which I'm actually still considering if we go into a game 3. So let's see. I didn't reveal my last Pokemon yet, so I think it's fine probably to just go out into Diggersby and just Rage Powder away. I mean, like, Tangrowth's special defense, or sorry, defense is insane, so should just close out this one. But yeah, okay. This is a fun set. It's cool playing with these Pokemon. Like, I don't think I've ever used Tangrowth in VGC before, quite frankly. Yeah, so the Mummy can't heal itself. So I think just high horsepower into Tauros and Rage Powder here is fine. Even if you set up Trick Room at this point, I think it's okay. Tauros protects. Yeah, that's fine. Because I just don't think there's any damage into Tangrowth now. Like, this thing has a really good defensive stat. And Leech Seed will slowly stall out the Mummy out. So I'm expecting Trick Room to go up here. But then I can just Rage Powder, high horsepower the next turn. Okay, he just opts for Body Press. That's fine, yeah. Basically hoping there that I don't use, or don't Rage Powder. You don't see, like, defensive Leech Seed sets that often in VGC. Most of the times it's with, like, Ferrothorn, for example. It's pretty much really the only one. And Tangrowth is just so bad in the actual metagame right now because there's Togekiss, there's Cinderace, but in a meta without those, you can see it's a lot more viable. It's just played safe and Rage Powder, high horsepower again. Tangrowth should 2v1 this. Okay. Tauros is faster. Well, I shouldn't be surprised by that, actually, but that's good to confirm. Going for a flinch. Okay. Okay. Well, I gotta play with the flinches in mind, then. I think that's still fine, especially with Persian being our last one. Although my Persian does not have Foul Play, has beat up. It's like full support with beat up Icy Wind. Foul Play here would have just like locked up the game pretty much instantly, but I think we're still fine. Just gonna go for the high horsepower onto Cofagrigus this time in Rage Powder. Because the Rock Slides obviously don't do very much, and there is a chance Tauros was protecting here. As soon as we KO Cofagrigus, we'll win, right? Okay, he's gonna go for the Body Slam this time around, yep. Tangrowth is so bulky. It does get the paralysis, though. Alright, high horsepower connects. Alright, after Leech Seed, that should be enough. I do lose my huge power, though. That's fine. Okay, yeah, we're good. Nice. But, you know, I obviously had a huge advantage in this game with that critical hit. I think without the crit, it makes it a lot harder because, like, Diggersby was just able to get one extra max move off, which was so critical in this game. So, very, very lucky critical hit there. Confident that Scrafty was going to survive there otherwise. I think the game still would have been pretty close because, you know, he didn't bring a Scavalier. So I think going into the third game, Scavalier is definitely coming back. So I basically have to try to counter that as much as possible. Yeah, I'm just actually going to... What do you do here? Rock Slide? Leech Seed. Persian just comes out and wins this now. He's got EQ. Okay. Tangrowth should survive that, though. Yep, no problem. So let's see if we connect on Leech Seed here. This is still not over because I don't have Foul Play. But Tangrowth has been very good today. It's hit all of its attacks. Okay, nice. Okay, so I'm thinking about Game 3 right now, basically. What's the best strategy in Game 3? Like, Tangrowth basically 4v1 this game, so I think, once again, it definitely starts with the Scavalier. The question is, does Wolfe just commit to what he did in the first game? Because, of course, I could learn from my mistakes and just go for... I don't want to know. I don't know if I want to lead the Diggersby. Like, Persian plus Slowking is really interesting, but I don't have Taunt on this Pokemon. So, I'm going to just fake out here, and... I mean, any attack works here. I have to play against the Scrafty Cofagrigus stuff in the next game, basically. Final dodge, but that doesn't matter. I don't want to reveal any more information about the Persian here. And yeah, I don't think Tauros knocks out the Tangrowth here anyway. Lily actually just takes care of it by itself. Okay, very nice. So game 3, it's all about countering his Escavalier, because that is definitely going to come out, and I'm going to need to have good answers against that. My Escavalier was booty in that first game. It was pretty much completely countered by everything he had. There's the Will-O-Wisp on the Mummy, there's Intimidate from Scrafty, and I don't do any damage into Escavalier. I looked into whether Escavalier gets fire-type attacks going into this set, so yeah. Alright, it's been a fun set though, for sure. You know, a bunch of different max Pokemon already. Diggersby in this one, Escavalier in the last one, so let's get this third game going. And since it got dark, I'm reopening the blinds. Okay, what do we got? What do we got? Do I think Wolfe goes with the same 4? Scrafty Mummy lead. How do I beat that? In a way that's not relying on sleep powders. I was so close to putting Max Flare on Lucario too, but I don't even know if that would be that good here. Here's a damage calc for you that I did before this, because I was expecting to go up against Escavalier. +2 Max Quake knocks out Escavalier. +1 though does not. Dynamax Escavalier. Persian Slowking. Really wish I had a way to just knock out the Cofagrigus. I bet he's Mentorb. That's my guess. Okay, Escavalier was terrible for us in the first game, despite him going Trick Room, so I don't think we bring that. It's just if I go Tangrowth, Diggersby, Persian, and Slowking, that is so Diggersby weak. So I'm thinking Tangrowth, Slowking, just to spam some Sleep Powders early on and whittle away with damage. I don't know, Diggersby can be so good here, though, even under Trick Room. Okay. I do think like, Wolfe probably just switch things up because it's an exhibition set. I do think the Scrafty Mummy Escavalier core is just really good against what I brought. Yeah. I'm really curious on the item on Cofagrigus, whether it's a Mental Orb or one of the resist berries. I would think it's a Ghost Resist. Oh, Escavalier and Scrafty. Okay. Huh. What do I want to do turn 1? Ideally, I want him to Dynamax early. I actually would rather see this because the biggest threat to me is already out on the field. Now, the problem is that you have so many good switch-ins. I think the first turn I'm leaning towards just Double Protect. Cofagrigus comes in. Yep. Okay. No max on the Escavalier, which is very, very good on his end. Very smart. I'm guessing it was just Mega Horn into Tangrowth. I think that would make a lot of sense. Ooh. I didn't know that got close combat. Alright, I learned something new today. That's good to know. So I think Sleep Powder now into Cofagrigus is safe. I mean, I really want to go out into Slowking. I think that's the win condition. So it might be Persian instead. Wish I had foul play on this now. I think I needed to probably bring some better answers against like hard Trick Room stuff here. Alright, we miss. That's what I get for being somewhat reliant, you know, on Sleep Powder. Tangrowth survives that though, which is clutch. Trick Room goes up. This is a masterclass in like why you don't Dynamax turn 1. I think a lot of players would have been very tempted to just have maxed immediately. So now, I think Escavalier definitely maxes now. The problem is, how can I weather the storm? Here's what I honestly want to do. I want to switch Tangrowth out into Slowking and use Beat Up. Because if I get it off, then I can max Flare the next turn. Because I'm already pretty behind in this game, I might have to make a big play. Now, I think Wolf's obviously good enough to see this coming, right? He might just go Flutterby into Tangrowth. Which would be the safest play, admittedly. But I think it's kind of a do-or-die situation, honestly, because of that miss. Which, you know, it's definitely... For how many attacks we hit this game, definitely lucky to even get those off. Another approach would have been to protect, like, Parting Shot, but if Wolf doesn't see this coming, this would be huge. Oh. The knockoff. Nice play. Nice play, man. Did he double up into that? It was Will-O-Wisp into Persian, but Escavalier just gives my team so much trouble. Nice knockoff. Yeah, I think, once again, Escavalier doesn't feel pressure to max because it doesn't need to, right? I'm trying to think how we can win this now. Because now it's really, really, really difficult. But I think going for a hero play there is okay, considering the position we were in. Knock off, close combat, Steel Bug. Got Regenerator, which is pretty valuable in this Pokemon. You don't even need to max, do you? You can just Shadow Ball and Mega Horn into Persian. This is just so bad. I have double Regenerator stuff, so I could switch Slowking out into Tangrowth right now. Maybe it's hoping for a Mega Horn miss at this point. Like, well, my best answer against Sleep is, best answer against Trick Room is Sleep. It's obviously not a very reliable strategy. If we connected, I think definitely would be a different game, but I would say it makes up for that crit in that first game. So, yeah, it's actually knockoff, so I actually stick around for a little bit longer, which is actually really valuable. Unless Body Press KOs us here. I don't think it does, right? No, it doesn't. Okay, this is actually doable with a late game Diggersby sweep then, actually. Actually, this is very doable, now that I think about it. Oh, but... Escavalier can close combat, right? Which is still going to wreck the Diggersby. Basically, how I win this is get a Swords Dance off and then not allow him to get another Trick Room off. So I'm going to Slowking here. Let's see. It's 2 turns of Trick Room left. I could switch Tangrowth out for further recovery. Which admittedly I'm tempted to. I think we need to heal up Tangrowth. So I'll go out on a Persian here and finally commit a Flamethrower into Escavalier. The problem is that he's got the Intimidate with Scrafty in the back. So it's like you can obviously decrease the damage output coming out from the... He's actually going to finally max. Okay. See, once again, this is such a good lesson in why you don't Dynamax early on. If Wolf Dynamaxed on turn 1, I think we probably win this game. But he was very smart because he realized, hey, I'm not in actually immediate danger of damage coming out from the opposing end. Which, once again, is just, yeah, really, really smartly done. Okay, so Flutterby finally comes out. I think, yeah. Oh, it goes into Persian, actually. Can we survive a Shadow Ball here? Getting a Flamethrower off here would be huge. Because then we can play towards the Diggersby endgame, right? That's what I'm going for. And he goes for Body Press. Huh. Okay. I'm not saying there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance. Could you imagine if we got a burn here? No. It's too good to be true. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? You Flutterby into Slowking, right? Do you risk it, or do you play it safe and target Tangrowth? No, I think you play it safe and target Tangrowth. So I could go Diggersby here. Max and then guard. If I go into Tangrowth, what do I do? Protect? I don't want to protect on the Slowking. He also has to respect Diggersby just setting up here, right? No, I guess what you do here is you just max Flutterby into Slowking and then Will-O-Wisp. Yeah. Do I play for Will-O-Wisp miss and go for a Swords Dance? Or do I max guard? I also think actually I switch Slowking out here. Okay, I'm playing it safe and going for the Protect, switching out into Tangrowth. I don't know if that's the correct play. The Mummy is also what makes this really tough on Cofagrigus. Not an ability that normally sees too much value, but is very good here. Yeah, so there's Flutterby. It's probably just Flutterby will. I wonder if we can survive this after the attack drop. Nah, we can't. Okay. However, now Trick Room is over. Yeah, there was Will-O-Wisp. So I could have gambled and gone for a Swords Dance there. And maybe that was the gambit we needed to go for. What I can do now is bring out Slowking and double up to KO the Escavalier. I mean, like, Slowking could have done really well in this late game, too. He's got close combat, we know. I think here your play is to just Flutterby into the Slowking. And Trick Room. Flutterby into Slowking and Trick Room. Flutterby into Slowking and Trick Room. So do I Swords Dance? I think we just commit the max Quake and Flamethrower. I gotta knock out Escavalier. I don't even know if this knocks out, actually. It should, because +2 max Quake's a KO, right, onto the Escavalier. And Flamethrower gets enough chip. Or actually, I mean, sorry, Quake does enough so that Flamethrower is a KO. I mean, we'll have the Dynamax advantage, but at what cost, right? He's gonna just bring Scrafty back in, and then you can just double up onto Diggersby. Unless he, like, messes up here and goes for Will-O-Wisp and misses Will-O-Wisp. Okay, Escavalier finally goes down, but this Pokemon stayed on the field for way too long. One potential win con in this game was to have Dynamax Slowking in the late game. He does go for Will-O-Wisp, but it hits, unfortunately. That being said, I think I'd rather see Will-O-Wisp than Trick Room come up this turn. Okay. I'm not going to give up yet, but I think the Cofagrigus is in a fantastic position against us right now. Plus, you bring in Scrafty for another Intimidate. And these Quake boosts don't do very much, so yeah. I risked a lot of this basically on the Slowking switch in. And Wolf very excellently didn't even max that turn, went for a knockoff, which in retrospect was actually a really safe play. So like, what I could have done in comparison was actually like protect that turn and Parting Shot into a Escavalier to get a free switch in. Because then I can get like Diggersby out, and then I can maybe go for a Swords Dance. The main problem was that we basically never got a Swords Dance off with the poor Diggersby in this game. So I'll Max Strike here and Scald. But with us being burnt now, it's not looking great. Curious how much this does. You know, not bad damage, honestly. That's the answer. Not bad damage. See how slow Scrafty is. I think it probably still outspeeds us even after the speed drop, but we'll see. Funny enough, though. Oh, sorry, yeah, he has White Herb, so that's not even relevant. Although, Lash Out then doesn't get the increased damage output, right? But that still might be a knockout. It is. Okay. Well played. Well played. Fun set. I had a lot of problems against the Escavalier, and it's funny because I had my own Escavalier in this one, but... let me think. Yeah, I had my own Escavalier in this one, but it just didn't really have great damage output, so I couldn't really justify bringing that. Unfortunately, Lucario didn't get to come out at all, and that's mainly because of what Wolf had. What did he lead in this game? Scrafty and the Escavalier. So we could have maybe gone like Persian Lucario in the last game, but without a Fire-type odd attack on it, the main problem was that Slowking was my main win con against the Escavalier. Now, what would have been a sick lead was probably like Persian plus Lucario. Sorry, Persian plus Slowking could be interesting. But I don't. None of that feels really good. Like I just don't have a guaranteed safe beat up set up in this game. I think, which is the problem. Having Shadow Ball on the Slowking would have been a lot nicer. I think. Diggersby still does a lot. I mean, the fact that this is like a burnt -1 Diggersby and is able to do that much damage is really impressive. So I think the maybe one chance we had at winning is if the Will-O-Wisp missed earlier. Like I said, one of the win cons I was thinking about was going for Sword Stance turn 1. Or sorry, Sword Stance the turn, hoping for a miss because we were already kind of playing from behind at that point. Yeah, so as you saw, Escavalier was a big problem, but also Wolfe played it really, really well. Instead of just clicking the Dynamax button on turn 1, he was very patient with it. So I think that was great decision-making. Could have been really interesting, right? Because I could have just Dynamaxed the Diggersby and just gone for a Max Quake immediately on turn 1 onto the Escavalier. If you think about that, if I go for that, because if he doesn't max, it does so much damage, right? So, in retrospect, I actually think I had a pretty good lead, but switching out Diggersby was not the call. What we should have gone for was just immediate damage, because if I actually get that damage onto the Diggersby, I think it's pretty hard to win this game. Sorry, if I get it onto the Escavalier, close combat doesn't knock us out, and because you should be Assault Vest on the Escavalier, then the subsequent turn, another Max Quake should just KO you, meaning that you don't Dynamax the Escavalier anymore, and that's by far the biggest damage dealer in this game. So, really fun set. I think cool to really feature a bunch of Pokemon that we don't get to use as much. Tangrowth was obviously the MVP of that second one, and I think first and third one is just us trying to play around Escavalier, but not having like the best answers against it. And the main reason is because I didn't have anything that could really cover like the combination of like Slowking plus Escavalier plus Scrafty. So really, really good core. I think great decision on Wolfe's end to bring that. I would have loved to get like the beat up with the Lucario stuff off, and maybe I should have just gone for it in this last game. Like. The problem is if I lead Persian Lucario once again, I don't have a safe turn 1. What I could do is probably... I don't even have Max Guard on Lucario. So, yeah. The Scrafty on Fake Out was the main problem, and honestly, like, I thought Scrafty was in the top 100, so I did not expect that to come out in this matchup. So, the Fake Outs made things a lot harder. But, you know, team building for a format like this, I think is super fun and super interesting because it's completely different from, like, traditional VGC, and obviously, like, I figured this would be kind of an Escavalier-based metagame, honestly, because, like, it just feels like a really strong Pokemon, and there are just no really good Fire-type Pokemon to counter it. The problem is that my Escavalier was just way worse than his. So, yeah, I think what I would have done if I could make one play differently in Game 3 was actually just Dynamax Diggersby turn 1, go for the Max Quake, and Sleep Powder. And that would have been actually such a good play. Sure, we missed the Sleep Powder on the Mummy, but I don't think that like this is a loss I'd ever like point to and say, oh yeah, we lost because of that. Like, Wolfe just played really, really well with the Escavalier, and once again, just such good decision making not to Dynamax it for all of those different turns. So yeah, I think like the matchup was a little bit more in his favor, but we definitely had tools to win this, and he just executed better in this third game. I really was hoping to bait out a Dynamax on turn 1 on the Diggersby, so like that's why I was like actually pretty happy with our lead relative to his, but he played really smartly by not maxing in any of the turns, and in retrospect, what was I worried about? Like, I wanted to double protect to blow out a Fake Out, right? But yeah, I think the switch into Cofagrigus, could you imagine if we just Max Quake Sleep Powder and the Sleep Powder connects? I think it's actually so difficult to come back from that if I'm able to pull that play off turn 1. So, because, like, I had probably a slightly more offensive lead, I needed to basically push that momentum earlier on. But that was a really fun set, so thanks to Wolfe for agreeing to do this with me. Guys, go check out his perspective of the battle, and I'm looking forward to doing more fun casual battles like this, just because we get to, feature Pokemon we don't see very often. I was actually surprised Diggersby wasn't even in the top 100 because it's just such a strong Pokemon, but Wolfe brought a lot of good things to counter it, so hats off to him. That's gonna be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Go check out Wolfie, of course, and I'll see you guys soon. Alright, peace.